I am Brenda Jean Power, Medicine Woman. I am from Woman Soultion, and there is a solution to every problem as long as you're aligned to it. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit more. It is, got to catch my breath all of a sudden. Give me a minute, I'm realigning all the energies. That's what you need to do, because you are a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual being. If you are unable to really get hooked into who that really is, there can be a problem. You can go into many, many different ways of thinking. And if you let your ego mindset become in charge, it can become a very scary place to live in. So we'll wait for a few more people to show up and then we'll start talking. So hello, everybody. Now, the topic is stop believing, what did I put? Stop believing in your ego mindset. And what does that mean? First of all, do any of you know the difference between ego and your spiritual self? You know what a mindset is, okay? And a mindset will determine the amount of vibrational rates that your brain is, what hemisphere you're using. Some people are frontal lobe thinkers, some people are limbic thinkers, and such can change the way your filters are to somebody else's. Now, what happens if the spiritual energy to which you are first and the primal energies which you got put together first before the meridians and all of the other energies that are necessary, they change the filters between each and one of us. But there is always a consistency of how the ego mindset versus the spiritual mindset. When you're in ego mindset, we have a tendency to not know which voice is which voice. And this is where I've been. Growing up, there's a conditioned voice, and you can usually link those to whether it's a encoding of whether it's your gender, your culture, your religion, okay, and so on. Then those are the rules and traditions. Then there is the fear voice, which is your ego voice, with minus you, your spiritual aspect of love and higher frequencies. So they will tell you excuses and reasonings. Look at my borders. Look at my fears, listen to me, believe in me, nobody loves me. And this is the one that most everybody says this is who their identity is. It's not true. That's your false identity. You have a real identity. You just haven't learned how to cope into it. And this is the voice that usually will pop in when you can't cope, handle, and deal with a very specific thing. Okay, we're going to talk more about that in a moment. And now we're going to talk about those voices of more of the conditioning, which is the influencing voice. The influencing voice can be in any particular realm of energies, but one of them is, if you link it back, you'll see it is hooked to maybe a parent, a teacher, religion, peers, no matter what age, different households, so that you won't realize it, or it can be hooked into a false reality, which is where we learn from TV sets, computer games, YouTubes, any and all things that are imaginary. And with those imaginary ones, this is where it is real and unreal. It is real to you because you accepted, believed, and gave it your willpower. When you begin to do that trip through the ego mindset, your fears are in charge. You are bowing down to fear. You don't even know you're doing it. A lot of people don't know how to cope, handle, deal, and pacify. It can drive you to the point where you feel evil. And it is the thing about evil in the realm of frequency that I come from, it is that you chose to live completely without your spirit. And the levels of fear to which it can think is so unmanageable that it was imagined into movies, into stories, which create pictures. Now, let's getting back to all of this other stuff. You ready? How do you find your spirit voice? That's what my job is to help you. But when you are conscious and in your head, and your brain is out of balance, or your polarity is out of balance, you'll swear you'll hear voices. It'll create a somatic response, an emotional response. So that means it kicks in the body's consciousness to different things where you've lost your power to. You accepted, you believed, you gave your willpower. So my mother loved scary movies. I hated them. So I would always hear, because I refused to want to watch the TV, but there was nowhere to run inside of a tiny trailer full of people. And when you live in a trailer, there's no way to go. And when you're not allowed to go outside or playing in anybody's bedroom because you don't have one, then you are kind of stuck where you can only hear. So I had to understand that what I was hearing was not always real. And the only way that I could cope, handle, and deal and pacify with my issues was to begin to notice that I didn't have to hear them. And without realizing it, I was healing myself by covering my ears up. I'm like, I didn't want to hear. I didn't realize that was an innate healing, but it is, because it's also a healing tool that we use. It's called the sensory accessing, or accessing sensory system. You have eyes. Even if you're blind, you still have eyes. These receptors take, if your eyes are open, you take 2 pictures. If your eyes are closed, they take 2 pictures, and then your brain takes 2 pictures, and then your left brain takes a picture of your your right brain takes a picture of your left eye, and then your right eye takes a picture of your whatever, it's crosses. So you have many pictures, and it has to go through the zones of the hemispheres, which have different stories. Okay, you're put together in a very unique way. And if your full body sensation and your hearing, so you're using all of your sensory systems with a picture, it can get you into a world of physical and mental anguish, because the emotions will vibrate at a rate that can drive you crazy. And if this is your belief and you gave your willpower to it, then what happens is that you feel like you can't let go. It'll be this 2 energies where all of a sudden this one feels very lofty, very in charge, and very unique. So I asked Spirit, what are we going to talk about today? And Spirit says, complicated. And I'm like, so then all of a sudden, I see a joke about how, and I'm like, I'm not repeating that one. And I'm laughing, complicated. It's complicated. And so I just let it go. And there are experiences that we have in this world that can't be explained. And the best way to understand this is that when I have people come to me and they have great fear, and they swear that there's a demon around, or there's something in their house, or something's inside, or something is inside of them, or say, Spirit will always take me down the road by going to a different frequency level and looking to the alignment of your RAS, which is the reticular activating system. And this energy that comes off of your body is like this big magnetic field. And this big magnetic field will draw to you things that you are thinking, but mainly the things that you're feeling. And what you're feeling, and you're trying to use a voice to define it. And you want to, if you're very fearful, you're going to drop and the frequency inside of you, and you're going to drop, and you're going to feel like you can't be connected to your source, which you are always 100% connected to. You just can't feel like you can access it because you can't cope, handle, and deal the fear, because the frequency rate of love of 500 drops, and you believe that story. So there are several events in my life that I could choose. But the one that I really want you to understand is that you can create physical things to happen to you. You can create that you see things other people can't. If you're lacking sleep, you are going to create your brain into hallucinating something else. Now, let me just explain. Your brain already hallucinates all the time anyway, because that's all it can do. It takes pictures that you give it. It's in a dark it's in the dark skull, no light, only what you give it, what you feed it. And what you give it, then it has to predict the best possible solution. So it has to hallucinate. Okay, and so you got different parts of your brain that are running to the end of the timeline. I got to think what other people think. We have all these things. Now, if your energies are off, if your polarity is off, if you're disconnected from source, which you're not, it's just that you can't figure out how to access it. And sometimes we get beside ourselves. Sometimes we have to put those energies back together. So if you don't have the parameters, you've got nothing to compare it to. So when you have an experience and you've got nothing to compare it to, and you don't know how to get out of it because you have nothing to compare it to, you have no skills, you have nothing new information coming in, nothing new, you will swear what you believe is absolutely real. Amy, you don't like me? Why don't you like me? Oh my God, Amy, what's wrong? Oh my God. I can go there if I choose to want to believe something that is a fearful experience. And Amy happens to be the catalyst. Maybe she triggered it, maybe whatever. My mind can go there if I wanted. So I had a strange event this weekend. I had somebody's soul come to me. Help! And I'm like, I didn't hear that. Only until later when I just find out what it was. But all of a sudden I was like, what? I could feel my energies about being paranoid. I'm like, what? I could feel different ages running around. I'm 9 years old. What's happening? These energies were crazy. And then I had somebody else come in. I says, okay, spirit, what's happening in the world out there? Because I have somebody, and it was very scary for these people. We have different parts of ourselves that are going wackadoodle, and we just want life to make sense again. We want happy and joy again. But if we're addicted to, and that means our body will make a certain amount of chemical peptides to create a picture. Okay, create the story. And if you're not thinking it, we've got to be on schedule, man. And all of a sudden, you will run with those feelings and you'll try to make logic out of those feelings based on your memories, things that your ego will begin to tell you because you believe in that ego, because you're trying to make sense of it. It can drive you crazy to the point you start listening to just the ego mindset that sits in fear, and you'll start believing stories because you told yourself so. So when I say consider the source, I mean even including yourself. Well, let's back it up. Amy comes to me, let's say she hears something scary. Well, if she loses her authenticity and goes into ego and starts really believing, accept it, believe, and give it willpower to it, then she can run a course of being in fear. And then she's feeding that energy, and that energy's feeding her. She'll start attracting this stuff. And these thoughts will just start driving her crazy. But if she were to say, okay, Amy, let's balance your brain. Let's balance the energies. Let's bring you to, hey, my body and my mind's acting this way because I just thought this, experienced this, or borrowed information or watched TV. It could be true. And it doesn't take much. It takes only a split second, don't it, Aim, to just throw you off the cart. I mean, it's everybody does it.
Oh, God, yeah.
So for a split second this weekend, I started to thought I was going crazy. I'm thinking, wait. Do I have to believe that? No. Is it true? No. Is energies unbalanced? Yes. And it's fucking with me. Yes. What's going on? The paradigm shifting. Yes. Other people that I love are going through some issues and they're knocking at my door. Help. Yes. Oh, gee. Okay. So now it becomes complicated. I thought, whoa. But the way that I talk to my spirit is so different from the way you talk in your head and these voices. I know when I'm in line with spirit. I have really worked on knowing the difference, because at one point in my life, as I'm beginning to tap into my abilities, tap into the world of the unknown, and tap into how the world tells me I'm supposed to be afraid of it, so I'll avoid it, so I will have less of the me's in the world. We were told so long ago to believe in fear and to let go of our abilities, to believe in man-made images instead of the spiritual aspect of love that comes through. And the gifted things like psychics and mediums, and why we were told to stop believing them is because we were in a real place of wanting to control, I live in fear, I got to control that fear, and if I can get enough people to hear me. And this is where the paradigm is starting to split here now. And what does mud stick? May not be true, but we're going to throw it out there. And then if you have different parts of the different levels of thinking, the consciousness awarenesses, it's really going to be confusing when you're looking and you see how people are different. Now, we have lost complete respect for each side. And a lot of us are starting that we don't want to get sucked into the other side. And I'm not talking about the dead other side. I'm talking about in each other's realities. We have moved into more of the 5D world, but now we have to go and move through an hourglass. Just imagine Earth having to go into a skinny ass part of an hourglass just to come out the other side. So some things have to change, meaning when the world and multi-universes start to create another universe, another Earth, another state, what happens is the Earth has to contract, and things that no longer serve you will be forgotten. And then other things that had been contracted and forgotten will be remembered, and then we will come out. Now, I don't know why they've gone that route of teaching, but let's go back to the voice. I had to been in my 30s. I started out, somebody had an ulcer, and I remember doing a healing tool, and the next thing you know, the ulcer's gone. Great. Started to believe in my abilities, but I didn't have parameters. I didn't have things to learn from. I didn't have that boost of where can I go next? And I didn't want to bitch slap, but I had to have one, because I didn't face the childhood fears of the false stories of fearful things. And since I didn't know how to cope, handle, and deal with it, which in my adult head, it ain't there, body knew it. And so I had to go through an experience so that I could really fully understand how to help people that are in this state now. And I remember I kept believing in my gifts and my abilities. It was so quiet and subtle. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting there with thinking, well, if I don't do this routine, then I'm going to die. I'm just going to die. My expiration date's going to come up. That's lack of knowledge. A lot of my peeps are learning by their own experiences. Shit, it is the lack of knowledge. Isn't that right? In the academy.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you don't see it. You think, oh, lack of knowledge, nothing. But all of a sudden, everything will turn, and you begin to see, shit, it was from just having one small piece, not enough information.
That's right. Exactly.
And your ego mindset will do what, Amy?
You'll run to the end of your timeline. You'll go into high beta. You'll think, oh my God, this person hates me. Oh my God, they're out to get me. All 9 yards.
Yes. And it can be a world of hurt mentally, emotionally, and physically, which then causes you to have a spiritual issue. We haven't talked a lot about the differences between these issues, but we will eventually. But in the academy, people are beginning to learning that a relationship is completely different than they've ever experienced before. Now, I'm not sure exactly how all of the students in there are perceiving it. But Amy, have you beginning to notice the difference between an ego mindset relationship and a spiritual relationship? Well,
Big
nobody
time.
can, I'm going to say nobody can hear you shake your head, but yeah, that's good. I
Big
mean,
time.
means all your marbles in the right place.
Yep, they are.
So the way I handle spiritual relationships, you get my authentic self. Now, a lot of you go through in your mind, she's going to hate me, she's going to attack me, I have to use my RTJP and think what she's thinking, and she's just like everybody else, and I have to keep reminding you, no, I'm not. This isn't fake.
No, she's not. Trust me, she's not.
And when you swear to God, I'm going to, I don't know what imagination you come up with, but, and then I don't show up that way, what happens, Amy?
Well, it's like, oh yeah, that's Brenda. That's not anybody else. That's Brenda. Brenda shows up as Brenda always. What you see right now is what you get always.
And so when you think I'm going to be a tyrant and I don't show up that way, what happens?
Oh, thank God.
But you would swear in your head with that voice that I'm going to say this, do this, be this. Oh, now that's not true. And we're always trying to control how other people think about us. And that's the problem, is that is what fear does. So during this whole time that I had such fear, convincing myself, that's what we do when you're not listening to your authentic self. And I don't care how many times that you talk the way I talk, but if you are sitting there in judgment, ego, blame, fear, you can't reach that state because you can't use the same mind to create this new aspect of yourself with the old pattern, with the old thinking, with the old stuff. You literally have to transform yourself out. So our ego will make us and convince us to believe something that's not even true. It will make us and believe us into thinking that they see things, they feel things. And yes, you can even have physical proof. I can't remember the episode. I just remember watching a medium episode, and the person was creating bruises on their body, not creating, it came from the inside out. And this is where old terminology of psychosomatic was used in a very negative way, when people would just be not enough information, or the way it was delivered was because they didn't have enough information and it was judging. I love to help you understand. I need you to learn discernment. And that has nothing to do with judgment. You have to take the emotion out of it and get the information and listen to spirit so that you can actually make a better choice in life. Does this make sense? Okay, because if you don't, the ego mindset will take over, and you'll swear to God there's World War III going on, especially in yourself or those around you. So I could not get out of this loop, and I ended up not sleeping, which can make it worse. And finally, I went to my first teacher, and I says, listen, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I feel like I don't know how to make this stop, and I feel like the evil is on me, and I'm going to die. And she didn't really give me anything except for laugh at me. And I said, the catalog of life is that I'm not going to laugh. The catalog of life is I'm going to give you your power back. Because she didn't tell me anything about how to heal it. She just said it was gone, and I trusted it. And it was. And when I asked Spirit, how did it happen? Spirit laid it out. So I had a very chaos this morning as I'm trying to get ready, and everybody's energies are flying off the handle. And so I'm looking at the 20 emails. Okay, which one energetically should I answer first? So zip, 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 zip. And then I get to the one. And this sweet person is tired, not much sleeping, bruises on the body, things on the wall. And you'd swear to God that this is an actual proof that something dark and evil has this person. And I said, and I'm looking, all I can see is parallel universes. And I know that that's where we are right now, is we're doing the split, trying to decide which one do we want to believe. And when you're in high beta, you just want people to hear you and take care of the issue, but you want somebody to hear you, and you have to stop that cycle. Stop. Let me just take over and help you help yourself. And so all I did was put energy up on the grid. At the second time, all I did was tell this sweet person, follow through on doing the eye accessing. If you haven't seen me do it, then go find a video. We have the healing tool free for you to do in the room. So it's not about money for me. This person, I did not ask him for money. I said, pay it forward, which means if they want to donate, great. If they wanted to find a way to help in some other form, great. But the energies do need to be balanced. So anyway, so convinced. Days, I mean, everything's just horrifying. I mean, you to the point where you just want to kill yourself, and you hear these voices and you think, I need to kill myself. And you lose that track of that particular identity in which you are. Even if it's not an authentic personality, it's the way we grasp reality identity. It's the healthy one out of all the other options. And so I said, okay, let's just measure, observe, measure, just do the healing tool yourself. I didn't have to see them. I just had them, hold their eye positions, notice that they are healing it themselves. And I don't think it was very long. They've been in this for, I think weeks, months, I can't remember. And it's interfering with everything. Can't take care of the kids, can't really take care of your health, can't take care of your house, because it's like a pain. Okay, it shows up as mental pain. And people think pain is just a physical thing. Okay. And in a matter of a few minutes, I can't remember, 10, 15, I can't even remember at the time. I just know I came on, I'm like, oh crap, I got to get ready for the show. And I said, Spirit, just take over, do whatever you got to do. So I just threw energy up on the grid, saw that balanced, walked him through it. And all of a sudden was like, wow, where'd the fear go? I'm thinking, do you want it back? And I didn't ask that. Epiphany, poof, epiphany. A miracle is a shift in thought. Epiphany, the picture she took, and all she did was tell her brain new information, balance that energy of new information from left to right brain. And as she was doing it, boom, I'm back. Whoa. Amy's gone through many experiences where egos come in and go, Amy, blah, 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 blah. Ah! And then all of a sudden it's like, Amy, do this. And all of a sudden, boom, she's like, oh. And I write Ames.
That's right.
I do it all the time, but I don't do it all the time anymore because I've witnessed. I cannot express how important it is to witness. Had I not witnessed what I noticed and the difference between where I was and how different I was after the experience of healing it, I probably would keep playing this game, get caught in the loop. But because I sat back and who I am, I recorded it, I witnessed it, not journaled it like you do a diary and you cry and scream in the diary. There's a different type of journaling. And when you witness, you start creating more of a parameters, a very healthier foundation that allows you to do what? To wake up, to break the loop, to get out of hell. Because you create a heaven and hell state. They're states of mind. And when I was in hell, it was like, ah! But when I realized I could take my willpower and do with it and do a healing, and I got that and my personal power back, I went on from hell to a very heavenly state of thinking. It's a shift in thought. It's a shift in a belief. And when your brain balances, like I will work on some people, like in the morning, some people would just be out of it. And I'll be like, okay. The next thing you know, they're like, so, oh, they give you that little look and you're like, good shit, ain't it? And it's all because they did source point healing. And other than they're like, oh man. And so then they're witnessing in their head the major differences of to, oh, and all it was your own energies. Incredible difference. Incredible difference. And you witness it enough, then you're going to start craving. Amy is going.
I woke up, it was like a vice grip on my head this morning. And I don't remember the exact words I said to you, something like,
my head throbbing is 20 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I just said rub, or think this, rub. And she goes, oh, down to a 2. And then I said, rub this.
And then a couple more points, and I've been good all day.
Oh, good. Excellent. So you don't have to suffer. And Amy is beginning to realize, no, I don't have to. I don't have to settle for that. Not just physically, but also mental shit stories. And when you begin to wake up and realize that, oh my God, I have an unresolved issue when I was little. That's still playing out. You can change all those. I can't express how important it is. Now, before we get going, just remember, every time you love and you share publicly, your name gets chosen and your name gets put into this little box. The spirit goes through all the names from all the groups or each week of each show and then picks out one and whittles it down so that at the end of the month, we can whittle it down to one again. And that means you get a chance to get your name. Very simply, love, share publicly, share public. If I see it, your name, I see it, spirit goes, this is what it is. And then I take and I put it in here. Okay. You get a chance to get a 30-minute free session with me. Not online, not publicly, privately. You can move your mountain if you're ready to. You can get a lot done. If you know how to do, like, oh, I understand her healings, and if I just come in and I let her just tell me how to heal, whatever it is, and we can just go boom, 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 and you can really start to shift your world. So.
Big time,
yes. And trust me, I live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, dream every day, and I just can't imagine, I don't want to ever imagine living without this ability. So now we also have, if you purchase this, your name goes into another hope chest. And that means that since you purchased, you have a chance to win a 15-minute free reading with me here on the show. And if you take and donate, okay, I can't do the 23, but I can do $10. I can do 5. I can do 15. I also have a chart right here that tells me mathematically, yeah, my accountant made me sit down and think things through, math. God love him. 3 hours later, can't get that time back. Yeah, I'm bitching, but I got a lot accomplished. So if you end up donating a certain amount, I actually have a list. I can go, oh, that's 3 minutes, that's 5 minutes, and then I can tell Amy, and then, or how, or I can record it myself. But I have another chart. So people are like, but I don't have enough. I have this. Okay, that's fine. This is what you get. This is what you get, and we go that route. Okay. There's also what's called bring a friend. So you come in, you get your 1 minute free read. Okay. Let me just finish this up though. You get your 1 minute free read and you donated, let's say you donated 10, then I will give you 4 minutes instead of 1. You understand? And we'll do it like this. You don't have to come on the air. Bring a friend. So you brought a friend, and you and that friend tell Amy, if you're new, you get 2 minutes. But if a friend brought you, then you get 3 minutes, but they have to be confirmed. And if you are that, then the person that brought you gets a gift too, which means they get to put their name in another hope chest for how many minutes?
8.
8 minutes. You can do a lot. You can come on, you can do it this way. You can, however you want to do it. You get to choose. Okay. So people are saying, well, I can't. And it's like, yes, you can. There's always a solution. We just have to be aligned to it. And that is what we're going to do. So plus those that give the love donations like that. Now, if you got pay it forwards, your name will go on my wall. If you do love donations, that goes on the wall. So I had people that, now I've got to learn that I don't ever look at my PayPal because that's what my accountant does. And the only time I look at it is during the show. And I don't really look at it. I just like, gotta get back to show. Because I got to determine if somebody wants a paid reading. So my accountant says, were you aware of this? Few people I missed. So if you give a love donation, I have now made sure I have to probably do backup Amy. Amy, please tell me if I've missed anything so that I can give you the acknowledgement as an exchange of energy, because sometimes a love donations, which is different than a donation, a love donation is asking nothing in return. Now, I have 2 people that give me large donations and say, shh, I don't want, that's fine. I'll usually do an energy exchange up on the grid for them. So, excellent. So we have 2 people already that did a donation, so they get extra minutes in the group. So we have, I can never say that right. So if your name is completely different than what it is in Facebook, you need to let me know that you did it, because I have to link the people. Plus, if you're from a different country other than Australia, you need to let me know too, for tax purposes, because I don't want the tax man after me. Anyway, we have, last name is Leonard, and has done, so they get they get just 1 extra minute. Another person, they get up to 4 minutes. Okay, so that the last name is DeBerry, just so you know. So yeah, quintessential, that's it, she gets 2. And then you have oops, okay, I have to look.
Okay, and then Ayla is the other one.
And is that the last name that's different than there?
I believe so.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to have to mark that down, because otherwise, and if you can kind of tell me if you're from the United States and what state that you're from, or if you're from another country, that's great too. That helps me out so much. Even though you may have told me before, after the show, I have to go through, as my accountant says, and I need to sit down and actually take care of it then. Yeah, I didn't. I'm learning. Now, the next person also, okay, so I'm not going to say that person's name out, but I think that's either, I'll find out more about that in a minute. Aha, we have Amy, take note, so I don't have to go back and look. Oh, and we have a love donation. We have to put Ellen's name up. Love donation. So Amy, write that down for me, please. Or if Kelly, you're in the room, somebody, that'd be great. Excellent. That's wonderful. So there's all these different ways that you have an opportunity. Oh, we have 2 pay it forwards today too. 2 pay it forwards from Pilly. That means you have a chance, and Amy will decide how she wants to do it, whether, you know, sometimes we play games, sometimes whatever, but 2 pay it forwards. That means you get to get 8 minutes with me here. And you can remain small. You can be right next to me on the video. But if you want a deep healing, go for it. Okay? Or just a simple question, whatever you want. Spirit usually knows the answer it wants to help you grow anyway. Thank you so much, Ellen, for that love donation. And we will make sure you would get acknowledged. I appreciate that. Yes, I love it. Okay. I'm not sure what Susan's asking. So
I'm pondering that myself.
Okay, how long ago? Because if you, from this point forward, I have to be a good girl, and anything that's a dead, you know, if it gets retroactive or whatever, I'm so sorry if I effed up. There's a lot going on in my head, a lot of things always happening, and because we're trying to establish and we have to learn, meaning what people call failure, I see them as steps. So, you know, the best we can do. Oh, Crystal, okay, thank you so much. She's, oh my God, you have no idea how much this group means to me. You guys are amazing. See, that is what I want to hear too, because this here, just coming each to the show, it can be a group by itself. There is also the tribal group, which is for $36 a month. You get 4 videos, but then you get all of the archives, and these are different points, specific healing, to specific healing tools, to meditations, to question and answers. This is not even the academy. You wait till the academy's open. You get to learn this language that I hear every day. It's referred to as a spiritual human, so that you can actually learn how to move out of those lower energies. Talk about lopsided today. I'm all hairy. Whatever. So the love donations are for me, for all of the hard work that I do. A pay it forward is for those that people have donated for you. Okay, they may have paid me, but the energy exchange is going, and it's contributing to someone else. A love donation is for all the delivery that I do, hard work that I do, all the studying that I do, all of the things of stepping up and helping others to empower themselves, love themselves, heal themselves, and stop feeling like life has to be crazy. You begin to know how to become more happier, healthier with your alignment. Okay. All righty. Now, we're going to start doing the 1 minute soon. The 1 minutes, I want you to appreciate the 1 minutes, because the reason they had just 1 minute is so they can assess and help as many people. Now, is there always 1 minute? If I could get all the information out in 1 minute, great. Sometimes I have to finish up. See, sometimes you get more than 1 minute and a half. So please, if you have jealousy, go heal that. You're going to find out that the tagline that when the academy opens, and if you listen to the shows, you'll start noticing that the tagline that me and Amy do, as I say, resolve to evolve, you'll be able to hear exactly what I'm talking about. You resolve your shit, not just that thought. It is literally going back and resolving different points in time and creating a butterfly effect, which means not the scary fucking movie. It is about recalibrating so you're more in a higher vibrational alignment. Okay, you want that frequency to be higher. And when you resolve and you get that power back from that particular time, that's yours. And then it changes the filters to which you see, so you get to evolve. And then the levels of consciousness, because you have new awareness, new information, changes the frequency of becoming a higher frequency being, your first 3 levels of chakras, which are levels of consciousness, you begin to evolve higher. So when I say resolve to evolve, then Amy says, heal instead of deal. Thanks for participating, Amy. And when you heal instead of deal, is most of the time people run around, cope, manage, deal, pacify, or they don't even know how to do any of those. So they don't know how to heal, so they know how to deal. And I'm telling you, if you use the tools, you can move mountains just like that. And you can heal instead of deal. Stick with me. You're going to understand why these phrases are very important. And then I say resolve to evolve. She says, okay, apparently her mic's not working. Heal instead of deal. And I say, you can heal that. And you can heal that means when you start to get into your spiritual alignment, shit, I can heal that because you're starting to get new information into your brain. You're starting to understand that the tools work in a unique way because you're learning to observe and measure where you couldn't do it before. You can do it now. You start to see there's a major difference in your thinking. The question is, do you want your hell back? Okay. When we go to, resolve to evolve, heal instead of deal, you can heal that. Feel it to heal it. That's the key point. Your body's consciousness wants to be heard. And when you use a tool such as hope therapy or EFT or eye accessing, you are feeling it to burn out the emotional chemical peptides that can cause mental anguish or even physical anguish to the point you feel it, big fat 10 down to, where is it? Well, we want it gone. Make sure it's 0. And then it goes into when in doubt, oh my God, I'm doubting, or I'm not sure what's happening. Oh my God, if this is ego or is this spiritual? I don't know. When in doubt, heal it out. Well, it's less than love. Oh, Brenda says less than love. I'll just freaking grab a tool. Heal it out. Then when you're, oh my God, I'm doubting. Did I do this? No. Grab a freaking tool. Balance the brain, balance the energies, get yourself back sorted. Get back into empowering yourself instead of feeding your fear. And then you will evolve. So these key phrases to help you to remember. And I'll be walking around and Spirit will say, heal instead of deal. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. I need to get out of that nasty thinking. What was I thinking? And there's procedures to how, steps, things that you can help you do. So remember, if you really want mental health, emotional health, physical, and all this, get out there and start doing your white light working. Okay. Your white lighters. Okay. The light warriors are not there to fight. Now I know I'm going over my amount of time, but it's my freaking show. Charlie, the new energy that comes on this planet is a new way of disciplining, not by, you get on my nerves, look. No, I'm going to throw you in timeout, I'm going to beat you at. No. Charlie, my bird, he starts squawking. Now, oh, my first response, you have to heal that. Number 2, he doesn't know how to communicate. So it's great that you can learn communication with your animal, but when they own you, that's a different story. You're supposed to own them. And you don't want to create a needy animal so that if anything happened to you, then they're crushed. You have to give them love, but you also have to give them that sense of their own independency. Because if you get them to love you, then you have to supply it all the time. And if they don't get it, I need some love. However, and so they trained you by squawking, you pick them up. Yeah, it's like when I say, get on my finger, and the bird gets on my finger. I train them, right? But they know how to train you too. It all boils down to, I want a particular outcome. And when your body is asking for something and you don't understand how to listen to it, then there's going to be miscommunication. So when my bird, instead of me going out there going, you drive me crazy, blah, take it out on the bird, which I don't have to do that. Charlie, you know, and so I've been picking him up, putting him in the pool. Now there's no water in the pool. Charlie walks around going, that's not what I wanted. Okay, she's not getting me. He'll squawk again. Oh, hey, Charlie, how you doing? Put him back in the cage. That's not what I wanted. See, he doesn't see it as punishment. He just sees that I asked for something and I didn't get what I wanted. Let me try this again. So then he'll squawk, and then he's like, no. Then he'll squawk louder. Well, now we have this container that we just make it dark so that he can just calm down for a moment. And now he really thinks that, okay, there's a lot of miscommunication. I'll squawk. They're stupid. These people are stupid. I want to be with them. What is happening? To me, it's like, oh, this is what you really want. I'm not, as far as showing up and listening to your children, this and that, if they're asking for something, you don't have to be mean about it. You can just not give it to them, or you can give them something that you could look like you're stupid. That's not what I wanted. They'll change their tactic of how they're going to try to get it. Instead of going into self-preservation, they're going to die. You learn to communicate differently. It's a different way of my kids. When they wanted me to they didn't want to do their homework, and then I'm like, I would get so stupid. Yes, I'd rather have them think I'm stupid, because they're going to turn and go, oh, you can't do that, Ma? Oh, fine, do it. They'll do it for. And I'm like, secretly, I'm like, oh my God, you're so brilliant. And they are. But I'll tell you, they're smart kids now. There's a different way of looking at life. So now we're going to begin to do the 1 minute. So just duly note, Miss Ames, that who we have is Quinn will get an extra minute, and you have DeBerry gets 4 minutes, and anybody that communicate with her. So if you would like to have to come on the show, you can. So who's next?
I want 1 through 6 to say you're here.
Yep, time to announce yourself. Huh?
1 through 6, say you're here. Keep an eye on the feed, because once she gets closer, I will put in the next set of numbers so you can say that you're here, so you get your reading.
Yep. So pay attention to the feed, people, because we are beginning the 1 minute, which means you need to announce what numbers you are. Keep following and watching, because then you'll see that, oh, I may not announce the number because she doesn't tell me, or I don't see it, or it's out of sync. But the closer that I've done 6 readings, make sure that the next, she'll let you know, I need number 7 to whatever, 21, I don't know. Just watch the feed, and let's keep the feed going. All righty. Number 1, I seen the name here. We're Jennifer. Mm-hmm. Jennifer is here. See, that tells me you want it. Now, if you happen to be out of the room, you got to take a pee-pee, or your child is like, oh my God, we're big crazy. Here's a cookie. And I come back, oh, I missed it. No, you didn't miss it. That's why the number system. You're on 18 and I'm number 4 and I missed it. No, don't lose your shit. I'm number 4. Amy will verify. Then you'll get your reading. We want to make sure everybody gets a good, wonderful reading. Okay. Okay. I feel like my bird's here. You coming back? Oh, good Lord. But he's done. Oh, and I outsmarted the bird in the morning, because I don't have curtains on my window on my one side of my house. And I love that beautiful brightness. Is that he stands at the corner of the freaking cage that's outside, and he sticks his eye up like this, and it's like, and he can see through the first 2 panels of the windows, and he can see movement, shadow, or my hand, or anything. And then he'll go, oh, you're coming back, you're coming back, you're coming back, you're coming back. He's like, so I put up a curtain just over the first 2 panels. It's working. Thank you, Spirit. Here we go. All right, Jennifer. Enemy. Not compatible. So whether the enemy is in your life or not, understand that you could be the enemy to your own self, but it is, what are you compatible with? If you grew up with the conditioning that you know, you have to always look for the enemy, always have to talk bad about the enemy, or I have to make somebody the enemy. And that conditioning means that you can have an attraction factor, which Kelly, I'm going to have to teach that class about the attraction factors, is that you will draw into you that type of relationship that has to be the enemy. Now, the other thing is that the story is about right and wrong. If you're in ego mindset, it will be very judgmental, right and wrong, right and wrong. And they want you to start noticing, if that's the case, heal out the emotion when you think you need to judge somebody or somebody's judging you. People are nasty. People are thinkers. People will always run at the end of the time. You don't be shocked by this. You do it too. But if you take the emotions out of when it's right and wrong and understand that the alignment is what's important, you will then cause yourself less of a headache, and your RAS will stop attracting that into you. Okay? Go heal it out. Use OMG. Oh my God, they're thinking about me. Ah! Well, I can't believe they thought that. Ah! Oh my God, whatever. Hand to forehead. Do it. Okay? That's what we can do. Just remember that when you feel like when in doubt, yeah, heal it out. Do it. Okay? There's a visual for you. All right, Gemma. All right, Gemma. I want berries. I want blueberries, or I want some cherries or something. I just see these little tiny. Okay, I don't know why that's in my head, but they also said that there's I went right to my stomach, a whole lot of injustice. So you have people have a lot to call, the word call. What the fuck am I trying to say? Call them out, make them, what is it? It's
make them accountable.
Yes. Okay. Now it's interesting because that's not in the head, it's in the gut. It is a program. It's connected to feeling, when you start to feel awkward, you actually came up with a strategy because you lost a great amount of your power. And you want to make sure that you show them before they show you. They're pointing to the word lofty energy. They're saying there's the disconnect between the gut brain and the brain, because there's a certain amount of cloudy that goes with it. So sorry, I can't, I want you to, so I'm looking at the tools in my head. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to think towards yourself that it's pain. And then I want you to hold L1S. Maybe that's how we can get your brain and your gut brain to communicate. All right. How many minutes did we say Miss Love gets?
4.
All right, you're next, honey. A whole lot of impending doom, a whole lot of impending doom, a whole lot of, now I see a bunch of flowers. And there's a lot of indifference. And this is like the action or the attitude that you have towards that particular shit that's going on. There's stuff, I just feel like that's the energy in it. So, and I look, is this your type of thinking? No, it's like you have your thinking, and then there's at least 3 people around you that have a very particular thinking, but what you can feel feels like impending doom. And there's a strong outcome that's of the unknown. And the unknown seems to be feeding the impending doom. Oh, now my ears literally sounds like drums. I felt it vibrate. Do, 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 do. just real quick. So it's about your left side of your ear hearing. Okay, there you need to become, you are very selective with the hearing, and they're saying that what happens is that when you get very selective of the hearing, because there's like, I don't want to hear it anymore, then you go without knowing into an auto response. Now that is where spirit is telling me that you're like, I don't know if I'm compatible or do I want to be compatible, but they're saying this is where judgment comes in. Judgment comes in. And judgment in this case is about anguish. It's a mental anguish, a mental thoughts. And there's a certain amount of rejection that's tied with that thinking. What they want you to begin to understand is it doesn't matter how much effort you put out there to these type of thinkers, which is nothing wrong with. It's just that there's different thinkers. No matter how much effort, it's not going to be received. At least that's what I feel from you, is that you feel like all your efforts are unreceived. And I would normally say we heal that, but they're telling me again, this is where the exertion of power, whether it's whose sides. But there was a phrase that was used this morning when I was turning the TV set on, and someone says, yeah, and I balked and I did what I could, but again, I came in line. And I'm like, what does that mean? And that is, for a woman's perspective, one of the things I hear is that you eventually have to come in line with whatever the story is. Get in line. This is the line. Your type of thinking is not, shut your mouth. This is what we're doing. It's like you had no choice, but you lost your voice and there's nothing there in return. What they want you to understand is that you have gone into indifferentness. Don't let it bother me. It's time to wake that part of yourself up, because you only knew how to cope, handle, and deal because of what I just said. And now a part of you says that you're beginning to learn. These are ego people. And I can tell when I'm an ego, but I can also tell when I have a spiritual heart. There's a part of me that wants to move towards that. And it is in that fine line of feeling helpless. When that helplessness comes in and those energies meet, you will see it as feeling attacked. Your frequency of A has dropped, and it needs to be a nice balance. They want you to heal out where all of a sudden you may feel that you have to overcompensate because you didn't, maybe I said something wrong, whatever it is, and now I got to overcompensate for that. You need to begin to heal this. And in order to do that, they said that R1D, right wrist, first position, hold it in nice and deep. And then you're going to put it up here and you're going to observe and measure about overcompensating. And you need to discover, write it down, do a quest about overcompensating. When you start to feel it, see it, and know it, you can start healing, correcting it, and then stop being and doing that. Who's next?
Susan Shuck.
Susan Shuck. 1 minute, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the word love, and they said that there is a certain amount of inferior, superior energies that are happening. So I'm going to go to the cards, and the reason I'm going to the card says is that when you're learning to get to know each other. So if you feel uncomfortable and inadequate, understand that you are learning how to train each other to communicate. One of the things is that it's hard to have a heart-to-heart conversation. If I ask Spirit why, it has a lot to do with over issues that could be about finances or could be about career. So there's a touchy subject. Something is coming up. And when you are not heard in a certain amount of way, then you go into the feeling that I'm not worthy. This is an old pattern that's not something that you need. It's not true because you are worthy, but it goes into when you were 6 years old. All right, who's next? Vicky. Oops. Vicky. Oh, I smell like caramel popcorn, or I smell desserts. Oh God, that makes me hungry. Okay. But I think certain smells muddle Muddle what? Muddle your thinking, muddle your emotions. So are you emotionally eating? No. Oh, memories. So it might be because of Thanksgiving. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of okay, so just be understanding that age 12 is going to come up, at age 7 and age 12, and it's what you did toward yourself during, I'm assuming, family gatherings or something. You're beginning to become awake to, oh, you can see the different signatures and different personalities, and how a mask has to be put on, how a certain way of thinking, oh, there it is, how a certain way of thinking, and you are really beginning to say, I can shake this ego thinking when this happens. But first you have to kind of see when it starts to happen. Hopefully that makes sense. Ooh, cookies! What kind? Oh, chocolate chip. No, I don't know. I can taste cookie dough, though. That's good. Have you been snacking on a cookie dough? Anyway, who's next?
Amanda Gibbs.
Amanda Gibbs. You can upgrade if you know. Hold on, to answer your question. Somebody asked, can I upgrade that? Yes, if you send a donation and you let us know, then I can go to the chart and see. Okay, Amanda Gibbs. Okay. There's fear, but it's not yours. It potentially can make sense to you about said fear, but at the same time, towards yourself, that fear can be very painful. Now, I'm not feeling it in my head. What I'm feeling is the old triggers. They said about when you were almost 5, the conditioning in the household is being, it was being developed. Some of the triggers had to do with panic, and it's feeling what? And when you get the panic and you're feeling, you go into this arrested development, and it's hard to, this is where some people feel like they're stuck. But an arrested development means you can't develop past that and see another point of view or understand a different way of doing it. It's like when I try to figure out how to write a dissertation, I can't figure out how to where the punctuations go or the proper phrases and now whatever. Might get very muddled. Okay. Who's next? Almond Joy.
Oh, yummy.
Man, I haven't had an Almond Joy since I've been in the United States.
Are you hinting, Brenda?
No. Oh, okay. Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't. And I have to tell you, I really like the ones without the nuts. And maybe it's the dark chocolate. Is there a difference between milk chocolate and dark chocolate? Okay, did not need to go down that memory lane, but it was good. All right, who's next?
Katie Hansen.
Okay.
3-minute newbie.
Yay! Okay. Wonderful. And did you say somebody got their name in the box?
Kelly did.
Kelly got her name in the box. Woo! Yay! Okay, it's happy. Maybe that's what we should do. Is okay. Which Hansen am I doing again? Katie. Okay.
Or Kate.
Kate. Okay. So behaviors. I feel like there's a part of you that can go back and go, oh, okay, so I can see the behaviors. I can see worry behavior. I can see all of this. Now I see you looking out, from yourself out. And you watch certain people brood and some people in how they act. The main thing that I feel from that is that you feel disgusted sometimes by their behavior. It is in the disgusting aspect they want me to help you understand, where you feel, and the next word is stubbornness. Now I got to figure out how these all fit, because it goes back to shyness or timid, and it goes into arrested development. So what happens is that at the age of 2, the energy in your space was said, okay, this is your environment, this is outside the house, it can be anywhere, said that a habit was formed that aggression was the only way to speak. This is the way you're supposed to do it. No. And it was like only one person was allowed to have that aggression to speak because that's what is acceptable. You can't have it, only me. Now, I don't think you were allowed to have it, but I feel like there was a trait that maybe you picked that up, and without knowing it, a trait will come through. Now, it gets very frustrating. See, now they're pointing to the word aggression on another part of my book. And you're all, you have an epiphany. I don't know if you quite see it yet. I have to become something out of sympathy. So when they do this a particular aggression of it, either the energy or the way they speak, it can be just loud, it can be forceful. It depends on how they choose to use it. But you're supposed to become and act a certain way out of sympathy. You were conditioned with that, and you need to wake up. And they said that if you didn't do that, if you really listened, because you have the gift to do this, is that one part of you will feel like, I'm being attacked and I got to stop this. Another part says, I have a lack of control and I need to control this, so I will give it to them. Now I have an amazing headache that it's starting to come on. So the energies are really off. And that is when these people do this with that energy, you somehow triggers you to absorb the energy, suck it in, and not know it. And it becomes an auto response. So that's 3 ways so far. And they want you to understand you go into a state of confusion on any of those because you don't trust, all of a sudden you distrust, and it puts you in a state of trying to feel that I don't want panic and I don't want to be attacked. So then you go into self-preservation, and one way or the other, you have to, and that means do something you don't really want to do. Hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, who's next?
Kelly.
Miss Kelly. Hello, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. I have no idea why that song wants to come up, but do know that that's happening. And all of a sudden, it's just like there's a certain amount of love that needs to come through. And the gallbladder organ is saying, which is interesting because there's a longing. Now, this longing comes out and it's birthed from bitterness. Now, bitterness is anger and disappointment. So this one becomes a equation when it comes to healing. If the equation is the issue, which it is, meaning more than one things happen at once, they want you to understand that it has to do with a habit, and you can't see yet. A habit that you can feel. It feels like an automation, like I will go into this and not know I go into this. And you also do the overcompensate. So I'm assuming them two are related because of the last name. But you can't seem to make it stop. So it feels like failure. Okay, when you are becoming more aware of a particular energy exchange that is unhealthy for you, then you will feel that. Okay, it's not failure. It'll be defined as failure, and it was as it is when you were a child, but you can stand back and go, okay, what do I need to know that I don't know to resolve this? Ask spirit, come into alignment with spirit, and the only way, the best way to do that is make sure the blood goes back up to the forebrain so you can create reality without having to be an ego mindset. Ooh, Kelly's a spot on. Feel it. Gotcha. All right, who's next? Nicole King. Now, before we go any further, I was just alerted by a coupler, Katie Cop, that she gets, in her reading, we give her, make sure she gets 4 minutes. Okay? All right. Who'd you say, King? What?
Nicole King.
Nicole. I am not going to do that. I am not going to do that. I don't know. All I can hear is those words. And there's a strong emphasis. I am not. Okay. And yet my right part of me, I think it has to do with the right hemisphere, feels like this is a habit of saying and doing. And it becomes what's repulsion compatibility, which means that when you're magnetically balanced, you don't have issues. But it's gone into a -3, which means you can start having physical issues to go along with that issue that's happening on the outside. The issue that's happening on the outside is actually triggered with self-loathing. When you have talking to yourself, remember I was talking about voices? If that voice is the sarcastic voice, a self-loathing voice, you have to begin to, do I need to believe that? That was my little self. And the little self that came up was when you were 2 years old. And your 2-year-old was taught by the conditioning it's meant to talk like that, but you really don't have to. This is where you can learn to put your hand on your forehead, bring the blood up when you're thinking those negative self-loathing thoughts, mark them down, observe and measure. You keep it there, you're going to change that and get it shifted. A miracle is a shift in a thought. You can start to shift yourself. Okay. Yep, Katie, we have you marked down. All right, who's next?
Ashley G.
Ashley Grogan. And that is a new person, or have we had them before?
We've had her here before.
Wonderful. Ashley, thank you for coming back. Ashley, here we go. Confusion is what I've been saying. Okay, your certain part of your body is holding confusion. I feel like there's a certain amount of confusion energy in this front area. The reason they want to point that out is because they're showing me at age 3, toward yourself, you felt like, I'm not compatible with this person that you loved. Okay, now this is when maybe you got in trouble and a parent or something may have, or sibling or something like that, that's what it feels like, treated you not nice, and it was more of a shocker. Because of this, it has created a certain amount of action, of aggression that comes out of nowhere. And then there's a certain amount of feeling like shit. And again, if you feel what does it do? It expands. Okay. So it doesn't, if it was contracting, you would have pain, and an expansion, I'm not sure exactly how you perceive yours, but it can feel heavy, or however you best describe it. You may not even be aware of it. Just become aware of the fact, if there's aggression, is it stored, or what are you doing with it? Okay, who's next?
Her name is Haley, and her last name starts
with the L-E-C. Yeah. Yeah, so there's like Lekowski. Okay. Yeah, Haley, here you go. Now, are they new?
Yes.
All right, Miss Haley, you get 2. Self-criticism. I feel like there's an ability to, if I want to get something done and I want to do it correctly, and so I do self-criticism. Now, this is linked to being perfect. You didn't know how to really motivate yourself, and you borrowed the ability to criticize from somebody when you were 5, and then at 7, you learned to do self-criticism because it was easier to take when it came from you than from them. So the pain of criticism, and this helped you get over when you can't figure it out, which is fine. But the problem is that your body thinks it's being attacked. It doesn't know whether it's coming from you or from somebody else, but it feels attacked. So the body is acting separate based on this pattern that's happening. And because it feels attacked, then all of a sudden it'll feel like the emotion of arrogance inside. Now, I feel like that's trapped, and that came from an adult that somehow makes you very self-conscious. So that happened in the past. You go into self-conscious, you go into a pattern. There's another thing that comes out of it, and is that it's stifling. Now, when I asked Spirit, tell me more, they said, well, like their liver. If you have a pattern of feeling like you're being taken for granted, and you feel like there's overbearing energy, then understand your defenses will have to go up because you did not know how to take care of that. And when that happens, there's a certain amount of energy that you can feel that you either have to exert or somebody's exerted it at you. then what happens to you being lucky? What happens to your joy? Where did it go? I feel like this is a pattern. Now, this is a tight pattern. This isn't something it's got a shape to it. This one is like, it's really tight. It happens very quick. It's something that you need to do. And if I asked Spirit anything else, they said that you're used to doing this over time. The meaning, this is always happening. All right, who's next?
Autumn.
Ashley, wonderful. Autumn. Okay, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I got like little puppy dogs. I feel, you know how when a puppy dog gives you love and that kisses and all that, and the smell of a puppy dog, there's that newness. There's something there. I don't know what this is, but there is the comfortability of when you are with that particular energy of the newness. But they're pointing to the word irrational thinking, meaning there will be irrational thinkers or that will disrupt that joy state, but it also affects the metabolism, the way that the processing is. And I feel like anxiety is stuck when you're happy. Okay, these are two separate events somehow melded together. And so when you try to be happy, there's a certain amount of anxiety and there's a certain amount of do the right thing. Okay, you're doing the wrong thing, or there's the right wrong thing, but I feel like it's at you to convince you to do what they want, and it goes into this particular outcome differences. And I just dropped my pendulum, so I'll grab another. Thank God Amy supplies me with pendulums. Okay, keep going.
Do I need to send more?
Probably. I just need to get them off the floor and through the house and under my bed, and okay, I just got to clean. Anyways.
Charlie doesn't have one hanging off his beak.
What's that?
I said, I'm surprised Charlie doesn't have one hanging off of his beak.
You want one, Mom? I got one. Okay, go ahead.
Shauna.
Shauna's not new, right?
No.
Shauna, okay, now here's an interesting point. Now I've got a cough. When we have a phlegm of congestion, it is this, a lot of it is that there's this fighting the unknown. Fighting the unknown. So I'm gonna, Shauna, okay, just so we know. Here we go. Very interesting. It's like the physical body is like, hey, it's like when you're trying to meditation and your body goes, okay. So your body says, I have to act this way because there's something, this is the only way I know how to cope. So I'm like, my eye's starting to hurt. Literally, I don't need to get it to hurt, but I feel like something's wrong. I need to take care of it. But there's all these physical distractions that seems to really want my attention. And this is my body's responding to the environment. Now, the environment can be happy as hell. They're talking about your body keeps reliving a particular environment, and it goes back to age 4. And it's like toward yourself, you're told that you have to be quiet, not seen nor heard. And poke myself in the eye. And your body's kind of holding that energy of being petrified. Now, you can have the greatest environment around. Again, this is when you were little. So they're telling me that when your physical body starts to do this, is that do some Wayne Cook posture. Start to get the two parts of your brain to be balanced so that the communication can happen. Go to medicinewomansolution.weebly.com. Look under healing tools for Wayne Cook posture. Who's next?
Ellen.
Ellen. All right, Ellen. Yes, there's that feeling of energies aligned. I can be happy again. There's a certain amount of lucky feeling, but there's this nervousness. Now, what you need to do to finish is to L1D, okay? Because you had got into a state of energy, they said it was, which was fanatical. And so there's a little nervousness. So L1D and panic. So you're going to need to do R2D for panic. Now, to help you with that step of how other people think of you, because you displayed a certain behaviors, do L3D, okay? Because it's that feeling small effect that, oh my God, they're going to think I'm crazy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so hope you understand that L3D is feeling small. That's left, oops, left wrist, third position, nice and deep. And I can't remember the other two I gave you. R2D, which is the right wrist, nice and deep. And then L1D is left wrist, nice and deep. Remember, if you're going to hold these points, you also have to hold this, this, and this, and sit in and observe and then measure the hell. And then getting down to 0. Who's next?
Crystal with a K.
Krista with the K. All right. A disbelief. Look. Helpless. Obsessing. Coming. Esteem. Arrogance. In this case, it's not even about having the split second of all these emotions. These are different type of avenues of energies that are coming to you and creating a moment. I'm asking if they're all stuck in a moment. And they said no. So that means that it rules out being a trapped psychic attack. So it is taking and experiencing and reacting to certain things that are in environment all at the same time. Being that said, to help you understand life, what did you do towards yourself with all these experiences? And they said it has to do with that you had to treat yourself in a very haughtiest manner. Treat yourself, and so look it up, see how you treat yourself, and listen to the self-talk and do any of that. And if that comes up, that you have to treat yourself based on all this, a little L1D. Who's next?
Amber.
Amber. Now, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, just double checking to make sure nobody else has donated or anything. Amber, Amber, Amber. Amber, okay, watch out for the sweet talkers, because there's a part of your heart that just wants to be loved, and but it kind of like, it's like lulls you into a sleep to give them what they want. So they want a particular outcome. You want that particular type of love. So we need to change the attracting factor. So you need to make sure you start doing a little right wrist. So right R3S, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I need you to feel that part of you that has to fall for it and panic if you can't have it. And it's just that attraction, that love. You has yourself defined it as love. And it is what you know as love as a child. It may not be beautiful as a child, but that's what your program is saying. So we need to change the attraction factor. And that will change the compatibility, which is the RAS, to what you're going to draw into your space. Okay, so we must be going on 23s. Yeah. Who else is here?
Quint.
And that is, what we say, 2 minutes. Yes. Okay. Quintessential. Quinn. Okay. I don't know what's happened to my screen. Give me a second. I've like lost. How'd that even happen? I have no idea. 1 second. I got to be able to connect with you guys. Hello. Okay, Quinn, you here, hon? You get 2 minutes, girlfriend. Define criticism. You need to go in and look that word up, see how it works in your world. And do you need it? Do you need to deliver it? Do you need to hear it? If you're hearing it, it may feel like it'll hurt. Do a little R1S, right wrist, first position, nice and soft. And look at it in the negative sense. But if it triggers anxiety in you, then I want you to do right wrist, second position, nice and soft. Didn't we just say that? I have no idea. It's that fear of judgment. Good God, I don't want that emotional judgment. Because you can have a judgment. Like if a judge gives you a judgment, it won't be as painful when somebody sends you the emotion with their words. That cuts and makes it worse. And this is where it feels very hopeless. You feel very shamed and deprive yourself. Now you're showing me a particular pattern. And so there's a certain amount of loss. So then the self-loathing comes in. We got to get the self-talk under control. So you're going to hold this point right here. And this has to do with shame. So you're going to put your hand, do OMG, however you choose to do it, and hold here. You don't have to push hard or soft. You just hold it there. and think about all the different ways that you were shamed, all the way you may have to shame, all these different types of things. Okay? Because shame, there's an enemy somewhere. And if you can kind of look at it from an enemy aspect, as you are holding this, your levels of consciousness will start to pick up where you need to go and actually begin to raise consciousness within you. Because you do not need to live in the lower levels of consciousness and have shame control you. So when you start to transform that out, all that levels, you'll start to get the wisdom that you have collected throughout all the years. Okay. All right. Who's next?
Dan.
Say the name again.
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann. My voice. Towards self, I have told myself many lies, and I do that so I don't get my heart broken. And it's like getting my hopes up, and then you crash. So, and instead of getting your hopes up, you tell yourself lies so that you don't have to feel a certain way. Well, your body is still repeating this, but your mind and your spiritual growth is saying, we need to be able to be okay to do an expanded importance of self. Now understand, in an expanded importance of self, there's good or bad. This is the time where you have to be okay of loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and being with yourself. And don't get confused when somebody says, oh, aren't we just so selfish? You need to learn to know the difference, because when ego mindset tells you it's wrong, it is a control factor. And we don't have a voice. We lose and we lie to ourselves and we convince ourselves and deprive ourselves. But if you can begin to love yourself, go within and begin to just find that peace and develop who you are, and this is where the self-help is important, you can actually literally pull out of that paradigm. Some healing tools will work too. Okay, need some water.
Okay, we're to the point where I've got people in the other room. So anyone with the number 28 through 37.
All right, let's crack. Let's go.
Pam Pam.
Pam Pam. Wonderful. Miss Pam Pam. Oh, to be something. Something impending. Something impending. Okay. So they're saying that there's this feeling, but it's based on old grudges. And it's based on how there's a part of you that's been taught that that's how you're supposed to do life. You're beginning to wake up of that. And there's a part of you that says, pain goes with grudges. I don't know if I want that anymore. And somebody's trying to convince you, no, you need to. It's like, I feel like this person, that's how you bonded with this person, is through, they have grudges, you may have had grudges, but you don't want to live there anymore, but they don't understand. And so therefore you're ready to claim your power back. They want you to begin that the longing effect needs to be healed, because the longing effect is part of your auto response and it puts you back to sleep. So begin to become aware of that. And the only other tool I can tell you is EFT or OMG to help you break through that, or you make a personal appointment. Okay, who's next? Reenie. Now they're saying it showed love. Now, in the heart, when we show love and it gets rejected, the vibration in you went from 500 down. And it developed this auto response of feeling awkward. So how can I show love? Because to show love, I have to put myself in the awkward state. To survive, okay, safety, security, and stability, so I don't have them messed up, I don't want to feel awkward. So I can't show love. So there's actually a, I don't want to say, it's not like a heart wall. It is more of, I have to hold back in order not to feel dishonored. I have to put myself in a position so I don't have to feel sorrow. So, and they said that you had to stop showing love in a certain way. And this awkwardness, this whole story happened when you were 4. Okay, who's next?
Thor.
Thor. All right, Thor. Okay, so there's an overwhelm. Now the overwhelm sits right here, and it's holding the trauma of the surgery. Okay, and because it's holding the trauma of the surgery, then your body is trying to resolve it, but it can't. What I need you to do is you're going to hold L3S, and you're going to allow the body, you're going to help and allow the body to say, oh my God, I had trauma. Okay, so left wrist. Third position, soft. And you're going to sit there and you're going to observe the body, observe the face, observe and see if there's pictures. As you begin to observe this and you're holding, okay, you're going to have to apply sensory accessing tool. I think it's called sensory access tool. And that is, which eye is the trauma in? And you're going to have to go up and say, which hemisphere? That's not in the tool, but just kind of focus with the intention that, oh my God. And then I want you to notice what you're doing with your eyes, but kind of focus on one hemisphere at a time and measure. If I felt the energy here, what number is it? I felt the energy here, what number is it? And remember my words. I want to remove, transcend, and let it go. As you're switching your attention to one hemisphere to the other, you're going to say those words. Observe, measure the number, begin to keep doing this until your brain shakes it loose. And then your nervous system will start to shake it loose. Okay, who's next?
Mary.
Mary. Passion. They're going to the word passion. And you've developed the ability to have passion. Now, here's the problem with the word. Ooh, in sex, you can have a lot of passion. But if you wanted to do something with a lot of passion, there's a difference in definition, but your brain don't know this. So when I'm teaching, I have such passion and conviction that I want to get this across. But my body will say, maybe I can't show that passion because it's dirty. So there's a difference in connection. So they're asking, Mary, you're meant to look at how somebody told you that passion physically, it's dirty. This definition of religion or this definition of someone's voice saying it's dirty. That's their world. There are people in this world who do not think that way. So you are meant to heal out how you hear those voices of those people that say it's dirty. I need you to begin to R1D, right wrist, first position deep, and notice how they brood if you don't show up the way they want. Okay, you need to heal that out, dear. Okay, who's next?
Katie, she gets 4.
Which Mary is it?
It's Mary with ERI.
Okay, so that is you, correct. Okay, now who'd you say it was?
Katie. She has
4
minutes.
Yes, wonderful. Wonderful. It's so funny. I don't know if you remember, there was a cartoon called Underdog. Here I am to save the day. Underdog is on its way. Being the underdog, do you have to save people? Did you feel like, no, it's my duty because somebody saved me? Turn the timer on. And the reason we say this is because the scalar energy that happens to be inside the body says that it's programmed to have an auto response that has to do with what? I can't be me. So you used to be a particular behavior. So, for instance, before this incident, before the age of 8, you had a behavior. And like for me, when I was 4 years old, before 4 years old, I used to be very angry. I used to hit my sister with a pot when she pissed me off. I beat the boy up next door because he broke my purple crayon. I just was angry. And I had somebody bigger than me be more angrier and has broke my spirit, which now it helped develop who I am. But you can't be something. And I needed a certain amount of anger so that people would stop hurting me. we threw the baby out with the bathwater. So you decided I can't be something, and you put on a mask, and that's what's called the shadow effect. And we put these masks on and we throw out particular aspects of who we are. And one of the aspects of who you are that you replaced it with is that you were not supposed to be strong, you were supposed to be helpless. Now, sometimes this is old school thinking, that especially a woman is meant to, if you look back into the old day paradigm, was that a woman was trained with mismanners to be helpless, or to be this, or talk a certain way, or dress a certain way, or be a certain way. And you are like Enoli. So if you take the word alone and spell it backwards, Enola Holmes is a TV show, a movie that was on Netflix that I just watched, and they're really showing me that you are meant to have a beautiful spirit that's more than what you were designed to be at that time. And now it's time to grow out of that pattern and to become more you. I feel like you're a strong woman. And so when I threw the baby out with the bathwater, is that I'm supposed to become something other. And so you threw the good out. You're going to take the wisdom now. It's time to say, no, I can be strong. And don't fall for a woman if you show that you have conviction or assertiveness that, oh, people bitch at you and call you dirty names. It's a control thing. You don't have to lose your shit, because if you lose your shit, it's still controlled. If you try to hold your stuff and rebel against it, it still becomes a control factor. You have to let your emotions, and this is where I'm going to tell you that you can love the persons that are around you, but you don't have to become what they expect or what you're trying to run from. So there's the word feeling small that best defines it. And so I want you to employ taking the left wrist, finding that third position. Understand, this is about positions. My third position's down here, not up here. And I'm going to put my thumb here, finger here. But my thumb is going to go in deep. And this is going to go like this. And I want you to focus on how you had to be the underdog, or you had to save the underdog, or how you identify with the underdog. But it's all about having to remain small, understanding that, because it's time to pull the wisdom from this now. And there's nothing wrong with helping anybody. There's nothing wrong with going over and trying to save the underdog. It's not, but it's time to get your power back so that you can take the wisdom and develop and much further. Okay, Katie? Who's next?
April Lynn.
April Lynn. Is that it correct? All right. The word security. So we have to watch out for safety, security, and stability. The security is that you can't figure something out. And so your security feels off. You can't figure something out. And there's a longing that rejection is going to occur. So you're trying to reject something before it can occur. And therefore you're stuck in the past, stuck in the future. So you're more left brain, and you can't really be able to be present in this moment. You're like, but I don't have the answers. There's something about feeling inefficient. And they said that there's a certain amount of being stuck in this action. They want you to break this. They feel like this is a karmic consequences issue. Back and forth, back and forth. They want you to break the dogma. There's the dogma. And if you're not sure what that is, understand it's same shit, different day. You need to break the dogma, whether it's religion or anything. You need to break the dogma. The best way to do it is that, even though I see dogma, or this is the way it is, okay, because you got different ways of defining it. This is why you need to define it, because there's several different layers. Begin to do EFT. And if you think you know how to do it, and if you're making sure you count, you hum, and you eye rolling, those are very important, because you need to access both of those hemispheres. Who's next?
Angela Allen.
Hey, honey, how are you? Okay, let's see. The word self-abuse comes from when there's anxiety present. Oh, they said president, in charge. So when the anxiety is in charge, there's something about a distrust of energy, but I hear that there's not a connection. So it's like you don't hear what the body's saying, and the body is just all over the place, but there's a disconnect. Angela, what I need you to do is make sure your spirit is in your body. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure you heal out the emotion that caused this situation for you. So there was some type of judgment that happened, some type of an emotion with that judgment that had to feel like it was overpowering. So you're going to hold L1D. Even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just kind of hold L1D. Okay. And if you do, good, scale it, do what you need to do. And then you're going to take and you're going to put your spirit back into your body. So you start here. I put my spirit into my body 100% where I belong. You do that at least 3 to 6 times. And then you're going to start from the back of your neck, and I'm going to connect my physical to my spirit 100%. And you do that 3 to 6 times, okay? But get out of that very particular can't cope thing. So if you have, I know how you can tap into it. If you happen to have, like if you have a bad habit, whether you smoke or drink or whatever bad habit, eat too much, tap into that, and then you should be able to get to tap into what I was talking about. All right, my nose is itchy. Okay, who's next? Mystical. Now, just remember, if you have hit the love button and you've shared publicly, your name gets a chance to get into the box. Mystical. Now, it's really strange because this energy just comes over my eyes. And all of a sudden, it's just like, I just want to check out. Let me take a nap. Let me do something. And you see what I just did here? The primal energies are not balancing. And so if you just lean forward and you go like this. Okay, it doesn't look pretty, but you're tapping into several meridians that right here. And the smiling. And if you tip your head up, okay, then what's happened is that if you have the energies will start, the primal energies, and the 8 extraordinary vessels will start to kick in. You need that because they're really showing me the energy being stuck. So I've got, okay. What I'm going to tell you, this connects to a lot of people too. Some of you are going to need to look up the word mewing, MEWING. And I've had to figure out how to take care of my spine and my breathing issue. I know they're all connected. And if you notice, my nose is crooked. My face is crooked. Okay. I never had this. Now all of a sudden I've had damage here. Because I fell and I just, and I thought, it has a lot to do with distorting it. But nah. There's something called tongue tied. But my tongue may be tied, but it's not all about that. The first thing they told me that understand what tongue tied is, but I'm going to correct it by mewing. Means I have to use this back part of my tongue because I don't know how to swallow correctly. Because my tongue posture, I spent months and years trying to get my core and my physical posture to be great. And I would always have such issues. And fascia controls everything in the body. And if that fascia, the tongue is the rudder. And if the tongue positioning, the posture of the tongue is not correct, it will then pull and do different positions that it can change the shape of your face because you're supposed to have an inner you and an outer you. And the outer you will eliminate this, okay? It actually creates more of a jawline. The inner you creates that your cheekbones are lifted in the position that they're meant to be in. Now, as I breathe and I sit and do anything, I notice the tip of my tongue pushes on my teeth. When I go to drink, my tongue goes in the wrong position. So I have been mindfully noticing when it's not in that position. If I'm in the resting position, I've been waking myself up further, which means I have to put the back part of my tongue, it's called tongue chewing. And it's easier if you have a piece of gum or a piece of candy. And you put it in, and you don't chew with your teeth, you tongue chewing. You take the back part of your tongue, and you exercise it, which means it lifts up that particular part of the hide bone, which attaches to nothing but controls everything. Mewing. Start using the back of your tongue. And when you make that suction with that back of your tongue, I have had less pain in my neck. It opens my airway, and I start to breathe through my nose. Because I do that, it makes my teeth come together, my lips come together, and it creates this. Because I kept trying to figure out, why have I lean forward like this? Because my body is forcing me to breathe. But as soon as I started to find out that my tongue posture sucks, literally you need to suck, I noticed that my neck, the curve that you're meant to have, started to, I'm feeling, and this is the other part. It's called pairing in the body. And so my left part of my neck that has issues will always match up to my right hip that has issues. So I've been doing a lot of work throughout the years, noticing the different levels. And one of them is, if I get the hide bone in the correct position, get my tongue in posture position, the pain began to stop here. And I had less pain back here without having to stretch, without having to do all that extra things. So mewing is one of the main things I've been getting to do the next few days. And hopefully I will keep mindful and continue to do it, that you'll start seeing my facial structure become more healthy. So I'll have a better inner you and a better outer you. So I think that's hilarious, because your inner world creates your outer world. Okay. All right. Sorry for that long pause, but I thought it was important. Who's next?
Bobby.
Bobby. Oh, hi, honey. How are you doing? Oh, Bobby. You've been on my mind, girl. I'm not sure why you've been on my mind, but you've been on my mind. And your soul says, okay, the word phobia. Your soul says it's been trying to show you a particular fear that you developed a habit around fear, and it's around a particular story. I go back to age 8, and it's what you started to do toward yourself to save yourself. And toward yourself, you have learned to shame yourself, deprive yourself, and flee, and go into a flee mode. And you had went into a very bashful state to avoid things. And you had attracted to certain lofty energies, whether you're doing it or receiving it. But it doesn't allow you to go beyond your comfort zone, because the inner child, oh, you've been so sad, because your inner child is like, this is how we solved it. The adult you, Bobby, is starting to bring in that spiritual aspect that says, I don't have to put myself in hell. So you've been wanting out, Bobby. But the sadness is trying to break the comfort zone. The little girl in you is sad. The bigger part of you is like believing that your ego mindset says, oh, you have to be sad, Bobby. You have to be fearful, Bobby. That ego mindset, you need to get it to shut up. Okay. And there's the fear of just being. See, and I'm asking if there's one particular space, and they said, you have to begin to learn EFT. Now, Bobby, I know that you feel, I know that you need to begin to become into the group. Somehow, Spirit wants you to be aware that those tools you need to be open to be exposed around the frequencies of the people that want better healing for themselves and for the world. And Spirit wants to find it in you, but because you have a phobia aspect that goes with it, I can't just give it to you. I have to let Spirit and you communicate. So I can't cross the line, but I can tell you as that you need to take care of that criticism that you do in your head. You're so identified with that criticism, and you're so identified with people criticizing you, that it makes that hiding more and more important. Until then, I want you to do R1S. It's the same shit, different day. It's that dogma of what I just spoke about. That sadness is actually has to do with, oh my God, it's stuck there. So you think of the sadness and then hold L2D, second position, nice and deep. Okay, Bobby? So I'm going to put it out there that spirit somehow gets you into the group. That's all I can say. I'm holding the space for you. Okay, who's next? Oh, hold on. Kelly says, EFT helped me turn around today from crying to calm in 2 full rounds. That's absolutely wonderful. You don't understand how important EFT is. And this is why when I chose it as the healing tool and people go into the depth to what I taught, I hope you can begin to feel it, see it, and be it, because you have the power to heal yourself. And great job, Kelly. And Bobby, I'm holding that energy for you, dear, because it's time for love to come further into you. Okay? Okay, here we go. Who's next? I'm sorry. Myra. Okay, Myra. Crush. Are you saying crush or crushed? Crushed with an ED, so crushed. Interesting, because just part of my face, this like panic is affecting just part of me. I'm assuming hemisphere, my right hemisphere. Towards myself, I don't know what to believe anymore because the broadcast message from different directions. And and I'm asking, is this about confusion? And they said, it's about the way your frequencies are changing for the better. Oh, that's a good thing, because that means good shit's coming. The memory, a particular memory of when you were 10, and about how you had to instruct yourself that you have to behave a certain way, has finally started getting closure. So somebody accused you of dishonoring, or you don't like the word dishonoring, and you've had to figure it out. Okay? You had to figure it out. It's important. It's important. That's all I get to say, and everything just switched. All right, who's next?
Linda Windland.
Okay, new?
No.
Okay. All right, Linda. Hi, TP. That's interesting. Is this in the room? It's in here. Interesting. Okay, so the clues are all this. Somebody's acting hysterical. Somehow this affects you and triggers you to be hysterical. It is the signature of how somebody behaves that somehow triggers you, and triggers you to sit there and go inside, and you now have to control the oscillation, the outside energies that are affecting you. And they're saying they want you to begin to notice that this energy is down. That means you're going to be vulnerable. And this energy is down. You're going to feel paranoid. You need to bring that energy up, and lock it. It's called hook up, zip up, look it up. You need to also do the Celtic weave, the connecting heaven and earth, and the Wayne Cook posture. And you have to begin to take care of that energy so that you don't realize it, but there's a part of you that's mimicking, listening. Your immune system is like, and therefore you have to begin. We got to find you, honey. All these energies are not you. So if you begin to do those healing tools, you will begin to get your body right. So do it at least 3 times a day, and you'll start to notice when you start to feel off. Who's next?
Stephanie Zanin.
Stephanie Zanin. New?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, Stephanie. Okay, the martyr. Now, I feel like there was a conditioning growing up And one of the things that I feel like maybe you're watching TV or you saw this and it appealed to you, and this is based on your past life, having to be the martyr. And the best way to help you understand that is that you're so conditioned to do an automatic response. Let's say you're watching TV with everybody and somebody wants something, and somehow you're the one that's going to have to give it up. Watching TV, you can't pause it. You have to go and take care of what it is. And so you got to go without. That's the modern day martyr. And you won't know it until you get out there, and you will have this self-talk that you may not be aware of. And this particular self-talk, they're asking you to wake up from, because you're losing a great amount of power, and it's time to change that behavior. Maybe you can say to, okay, pause, mom will take care of it, or pause, I'll take care of it. But you shouldn't have to, based on their, okay, fine, I'll miss out. You enjoy it. No. Thanks, family, for including me. Let's pause this. You're going to find different words. It's time to wake up to particular things. Now, the hurt, the feeling that I'm unworthy, it's not even true, because you are worthy, but to define that feeling, it was labeled unworthy. And you developed a certain amount of contempt towards the people you grew up with, and which affects, and now you keep displaying within inside the house. So if you have any of these things, be understanding that the part of your body is that you're petrified to stand up and say anything. But if that's the case, your will, and they're going back to when you were about 2.5, 3 years old. So if you cut yourself doing any of these things, then you need to begin to use EFT to tap it out. Okay. So who's next? What's next? Tell me more.
Okay. Robert, newbie, 3 minutes. We are playing the number game. One has already been won. Pick a number between 1 and 45. 15 has been taken.
Excellent. So who brought Robert?
Thor.
Thor. Your name gets into the hope chest. Woohoo. Okay, Robert, you ready? I got to constantly clear my throat, or I got to constantly, so there's a disruption, and it's like there's a second guessing in the truth that you want to say versus that a whole bunch of information of this is, if I say this is what's going to happen. And so I feel like your RTJP is like had many experiences, so it's running through. The clearing of the throat has to do with a physical symptom of how the energy seems to be very aggressive inside of you when you feel very awkward. If there's an awkward position or something where you feel a little awkward, your body wants to take the stance of inflammation, the stance of, and this is about the power of choice. This throat is about the way you have your voice, and your voice matters. Okay. But you come across to some people that you're bullying, or you come across as that you're aggressive, or you come across that other people like that. You grew up and you have this energy that's running through that says, I have to live through others. And I have to be lofty about it. So the alpha male energy paradigm somehow is saying that, Robert, you have to be a gender person, and this is what you're supposed to do. At the same time, Robert, you've got, and it means that you have to live through this experience through the way they want you to, and that there's a certain demeanor that you're supposed to have. Now, if that's the case, you have to break the cycle, but you don't quite know when and how. And I'm telling you that when you start to pay attention to, if you have to take a defense, because that's what you're supposed to do, or if you have to begin to notice that this is always happening and there's a certain amount of contempt, or there's a got to do the right thing type energy, what happens is that your body, so sorry, my whole body's just went into separate modes. So mentally, I'm supposed to show up here. Physically, I have to run like hell. And my whole body, there's a certain reaction that has to occur. If I don't, then I'm going to dishonor, and I'm going to get rejected, and then I'm going to get this. And so the body goes into an alarm. So I'm seeing all these alarms go off. Okay, that's a lot going on. The first thing I want to tell you is that you need to kick people's energies out. That means you need to go into thought management, look at the healing tools, look for thought management, do Celtic weave, do connecting heaven and earth, do Wayne Cook, and do the hookup. You need to get the energies start getting right. You need to just walk around, put your hand on your head, and like when you're sitting there contemplating, am I supposed to be alpha male? Am I supposed to have, can I just like the, put your hand in your head and ask that question on a scale from 0 to 10 and watch the number come down. There's a part of you that has to start breaking this pattern because your energy is not inside where it needs to be. It's all over to these programs and to these alarms. This creates your frontal lobe. Get the blood here up into your brain. Let it get correct. Let it get right. Let it get balanced. Okay. The other one I'm going to tell you to hold is right there on the flat part of your head and right here. And I want you to hold. This will keep your hand probably go 2 or 3 minutes. It's going to help balance out the this is the, how am I going to put it? It is the water element. It is the water has to do with the kidney and the bladder. So it's about the will and the fear, will, W-I-L-O. And when you start to balance this out, this is about the fear healing. You may not feel like you have fear, but your body's water is saying it is based on then, which is way back. So if you're creating reality today, so you can do this, okay? Anybody else? Hello,
No,
Amy.
I just sent April the link. The link.
Ah, okay. So that means it's pay it forward time.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we're going to do the pay it forward game. And that means Amy did already picked everybody. So who is my first winner?
April Lynn.
April Lynn. Excellent. And who's the second one?
And Kelly.
Awesome. So are they coming into the room, which is what Amy said about the links, and we'll go from there. So Robert, I got a wow. Does that mean anything to you? If it feels familiar and it connects, you can heal it out. You can do that. Adam. I love you too. Well, we can do this. We can wake up together. We can help each other heal. We can move forward in the direction and evolve. Okay. It's time for those mental anguish shit to be done. Amy, we're going to give you a read. How's that? What are you giggling about, Miss Giggle Puss? Do you want to read or not?
I've been debating.
Oh, well, you don't have to force that. No. Oh, I get it. Yeah. All I can tell you is to hold L2D. How's that for you?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Robert says, yes, it does. I'm going to start doing that. Thank you. And again, you can get your power back, Robert. Empower yourself. Heal yourself. Take your energy back. Balance it out. Because the water inside of you changes, and it's time to put love back in the body. Robert, I'm going to tell you one more little tip here. And that is, I want you to put your spirit back into your body. So you take your hand, you start it here, like that. You say, I put my spirit into my body 100% where it belongs. Now you can touch your head, mess up your hair. Or you can hover over it, but you go, I put my spirit into my body 100% where it belongs. Go as far back as you can, pick it up. Okay, keep saying it, doing it about 3 to 6 times. When you're done, you're going to start from the back, and you're going to I connect my brain to my spirit 100%. I connect my physical body to my spirit 100%. And you can interchange those words, and you can do that anywhere from 3 to 6 times. Okay, that way your connection to your authentic self can start to come in. All right, now we have Miss Kelly. So this is who we're going to do first. And is it okay to make you big? Okay, let's click the button so I can hear you, sweet cheeks.
Yes.
I can. Yay! Hello, Kelly. I love that. Do you know the star represents hope?
Now that you have told me, it makes perfect sense why I have them around.
Yes. When I used to have the word hope follow me, and I kept looking, and then when I had to start my business called Giving Hope, I kept getting these stars, and and I started out the background with just Jesus. And the thing is that hope is that star in the sky, hope, and it goes even further with this. And I've had somebody sent me a hope. You can't see it, but that's a star up there and it's red and it has the word hope on it. And I collect hope if you haven't noticed. So every time I see that, it's like, aha, you finally have some hope. And if you really look at the Pandora's box story, I think hope was the last demon, and hope was supposed to go out and gather all of that and put it back in the box. So it's about healing out a very particular way we used to do things. So what would you like to work on?
Healer's choice.
I like that. All right, Miss Healy. Let's Spirit, what do you got for her? They said, "Ooh, goody. You have such a belief that you're irrelevant."
I do.
And it puts you in a state of paranoia that you don't even, well, you know it, but you don't know it when it's happening at first, okay?
I recognize after.
Say it again?
I do recognize paranoia after, and I do notice that some would say I have developed an unhealthy paranoia based on being careful about being a grower.
Well, and I like the first part, being very careful, and it's not even about what you're doing. You had to be very careful being Kelly. Being very careful of being Kelly. So this, what you're doing today is no different. Okay. It's just a display. So your inner world creates your outer world. And you have to be paranoid to do what Kelly wants. That it disconnects your self-love. This is a card that comes up. And you're learning to self-love. So we're going to go back to what's a chronic state of what your brain wants to do. It's time to dig in deeper. Okay. So there's an acute stage that we can take care of very quickly, balance you out, and then you can start training yourself. But we got to look at what the chronic state is. So they're telling me at 2 years old, you were unacceptable. Your behavior was unacceptable. Okay. Now, what 2-year-old doesn't have unacceptable behavior? There was a twist to this one. One of the things was the broadcast was so loud that it forced you to become very passive inside toward yourself. Physical Kelly can be aggressive. She can match. She can do this. That's not the problem. And when we look at this, your right brain is so out of balance with your left. So when I look at your left brain is, I have to be logical, I have to do this, I have to do that. But to allow yourself to let that spirit aspect of yourself come through, you are not allowed. You shut it off, because when you were taking the outside in as too, your logical reasoning about yourself said, that's the problem. Now, as I'm looking, most generally, when you have that, it usually means you can have an imaginary friend, you can have a little things here and there, but they're saying it's an awkward state. Okay. They're saying that there's an awkward state happening, and I have to stop for just a second and fix something. And we are going to fix it. So just give me a second. I'm going to shut April's video off just real quick, okay, so that we can focus on Kelly. And then I'll come back to you, April. Now, I want you to notice, you can see yourself, correct? This is the state.
But yeah, yes.
Okay. This is the face. This is the face that if they saw this, we got her tamed. Okay, which means the muscle memory. Let me ask you another question. Your muscle memory knows how to make you sit in that position to feel a certain way so that your body's consciousness says this is what's acceptable. With your tongue, where does it sit? Does it sit more towards when you drink? Become very cautious. I think you need to do mewing, learning about tongue positioning. Because the sitting of the position also forces you to do an airway. When you begin to understand the back part of your tongue is meant to touch the roof of your mouth and kind of have the posture to stay there, you'll learn that there will be swallowing completely different. And when you hold it in that position, it literally should start taking the hide bone and start balancing out your spine. If you don't have a backbone, or if you're not allowed to develop a backbone, only match and mirror, you're going to cause yourself to feel like the outside is always controlling you. That self-love was what you had to get rid of. So I want you to measure how you feel right now. 10 being shit.
8.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do, and this is going to be something that I feel like you can do like 3 times a day, because this is a chronic thing. You disregarded your right side of your brain to allow yourself to have joy, because logically it meant that, if I show up this way, they'll leave me alone. Okay, and then hormones come in and you're like, I had to show up differently, but yet you resort to this. And so you had a battle within yourself. This would cause you to want to check out physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So we're going to have you, when you do this, you're going to say balancing the left brain, so or the right brain. So you're going to say right brain. And what you're going to do is that you're going to find that chart, because we're going to rub our source point healing. You're going to rub lung. So right now you're going to do right side only, and you're going to hold this point for me right here under the thumb. I want you to rub it. Give me 20 times, because you can do it longer when you're by yourself, but we're going to do 20 times, and I'm going to mirror you, which means you're going to get double. Okay. Right side only. And then you're just thinking right brain, right brain, right brain, right brain. Okay. Now you're going to do the gallbladder point, and the gallbladder point is on the side of that ankle, right side only. You're going to go down to the 4th toe, go all the way up in front of the ankle bone on the right side. So again, get 20 times, and you right brain, right brain, right brain, right brain. Okay. And then we go to the next one, and that'll be the bladder. And that is on the side of the foot, but we're going to put 2 points on this one. So the side of the foot is right there. Okay. Pinky toe right on the side, but behind the ankle bone there's another point. So when you get a chance after you've done the side of the foot, okay, you're going to get in there and rub that. And then you're going to get that little spot right on the back of your ankle. Now we have to do left brain. Okay, so that means left side only. You're going to rub right here. And you're going to lay left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain. And then you're going to get to the left foot, and you're going to do the between the 2 toes right there, that liver point. And again, left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain. Oh, well, I've got a lot of pendulums down here. Like, there they all are. There's 6 of them at least. Okay. And then you're going to do both. Okay. You just say brain balanced. You're going to go here. Okay. You're going to take and you get in there and rub it. Oh, just balancing the brain, just balancing the brain. And
Both sides.
Both sides. And then you're going to switch over. Now you can do it longer. I usually like 30 times, but with me, this is what we're going to do. Now, just taking the cess real quick. There's going to be one more before you answer. Well, actually answer first, and then I'll tell you.
4.
We want to rub it down, but this is where they're going to have you learn to hold L1D. they want you to do is you feel very insecure about self-love, about being me. So you're going to hold L1D. Okay. And we have gotten the extent of balancing the two brains. Now we just have to pull that out of the heart. Because this is a long conditioning, chronic one, it can be, you can see fast turnarounds, but you got to train and build. This is why 3 times a day, and do it as often as you can. As soon as you start to feel yourself to feel like shit, do those rounds. Okay. And when you're done, you're going to take and make sure that there's a part. You're going to make sure you touch both sides. You're going to tap, breathe in, and you're going to breathe out. And then you're going to come down here. And of course, belly button, forehead, smile. This time you're going to put your chin up, because you want to get out of being depressed and all of that. And when you can't be depressed, when you smile and you put your chin up, it forces the body to create the chemical peptides that can counteract your muscle response. Okay. And learn to do mewing. Just kind of figure out where your tongue is, how you drink, how you sit and rest. I'm so curious of where your tongue is. Okay. So you can find mewing all over. There's the Dr. Mewing. Follow him. Okay. And then we can start taking care of your self-love. All right.
Thank you.
Love you, Kelly. We'll talk to you later.
Was it Pilly? Thank you very much, Pilly.
Thank you, Pilly. Wonderful. Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. So that was very wonderful to see that you can take and change your response. You can do that. So there is always this hope. There's always this alignment. You just have to find it, and you can use tools to help you to come into alignment. And as soon as we get the mic working with April. Hey, April. Can I make you big, darling?
Yes.
Awesome. Now here's my little sunshine. I don't know why, but you have this littleness about you. You have this little sunshine, but you just remind me of this. Remember that? I don't know if you've seen it, but I found a white sunflower. And that reminds me of you.
Aw, thanks.
Okay, so as soon as I hear April, I want to go, May, June, and then all of a sudden I see this beautiful sunflower.
Well, I always say that I am my sunshine and my husband is my moonlight.
Oh, I love it. Okay, how can we help you?
I guess whatever spirit, what I need to learn and heal out.
Healer's choice. Let's find out. Yeah. We love this. Okay. So the word attention and the word enemy and lack of control. So before we go any further, do people want your attention all the time, or does something get your attention all the time?
I don't know. I'm always thinking in my thoughts or whatever, like, okay, what should I be doing now? Or
okay, let me ask if that's it. Somehow it's connected to it, but what is it that you have to do towards yourself? And they said that you become very self-conscious. So are you a self-conscious person?
Yes.
Okay, somehow that's connected to the enemy. Somehow it's connected to the very first thing I said, which I can't remember even what the hell I said now. What was the
attention?
Yes, that's it.
Enemies.
Yes. Because the next thing that they said is they are coming to get me. Okay, so we're going back to when you were about 7.5. There was somebody on the other side just said, what would it be like if I did something that I shouldn't do? Innocent feeling, you were exploring, you've seen other people do it, and when you go to do it, so do you have a habit, if you were to do something that wasn't correct, you would get corrected or get caught or get...
Probably. I was never really like a wild child and explored too much.
See, there's your example. I think this is what they were thinking, is that the reason, and it's not that you weren't curious, but I think you shut that off. This is why in your head, you may have to motivate yourself differently.
Okay.
Does this make sense? You following?
I think so, because when I was younger, like I hear people talk about all their stories of how they snuck out of the house and did all this. I really didn't do any of that.
Oh yeah.
I was
remember
like
that.
a really good behaved child.
Now, here's the question.
Yes.
Did you have any other family members growing up that were wild?
Not too much. My brother is 6 years younger than me, and he is way wilder than I am.
Okay.
And,
So
but-
did you grow up in a strict, there's consequences, here's the outcome, or was there this belief system like a religion, and so therefore it was built in with thought that there's consequences if I did something? Or were you too scared to do something?
This memory just popped up in my head. My dad worked at a convenience store, and when I would be in there in the opening, I believe I was around 3 or 4, and like the hostess man would give me cupcakes or something. And I know one time I had got some candy or gum and I had it in my coat. Well, when you're little, I remember pulling my coat out of the closet and making the hanger made a big noise. And my mom came and said, "Well, where'd you get that candy?" And I said, "From Dad's store," because he had the keys to the store because he was a manager. So she made me take the gum back and tell my dad that I stole it. So that was when I was 3. So, I wasn't.
Yeah. You did it because toward yourself at that age, you were made to feel like shit.
Uh-huh.
Can you see the connection there?
Yeah.
Okay, so in your child mind, it is panic that and self-conscious that I've done something wrong, even though you've not done anything wrong. You're still trying to look becoming. I've done something wrong. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Now, also, I think you just noticed there's a part of your body that's starting to connect with that memory. Can you notice what's happening? I got an itchiness going on, but I also have this weird.
I don't know. I just kind of got some pressure on top of my head, and then I just feel like heat coming down over top
There's
of
a
me.
sensation. Yes, it's more of a sensation. Yes, and yes, and it's like this is a time you really understood what it meant to be an object. You did not have a voice. You was not believed in. And now my teeth are hurting, which means I don't know how to make a decision around certain people. And so you then towed the line or got in line and because you were told to. With your husband now, you don't have to do that. But your part of you is that you're healing from is that you had to get in line. You had to do it correct. You had to, understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I feel like you were always misunderstood. You are not with this husband. So you have a better environment is what they're telling me.
Yes.
But now my nerves are still triggered from that past. So they're telling me the best thing for you to do is notice that your efforts were unreceived because as a child you had, no, I didn't steal that. No, but you couldn't get the 2 + 2 that like you can as an adult saying this is what it was. At that time, you just had coming at you that you couldn't think. And all your efforts were unreceived. They're saying that it still affects you as an adult when you're talking to and people that have invading energy. So have you been around anybody that, or you try to avoid people that April, there's this energy that they put off that feels like it's just invading your space. You're like, ew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a couple coworkers that are kind of like
that. Okay. Yes. And they're there because your soul says it has this memory that hasn't resolved out. That's the only reason they're there. So to best help you heal this is that you have got to stop being an it and being accused. So you need to do L3D. Okay. And yours is a little bit interesting because the invading energies. Now, these people, do you feel like they accuse you or do you feel like they accuse others? Are you doing duck and cover because you don't know whether it's going to be aimed at you or you try to ignore them, but what do you see?
They're just more drama.
Aha! Very good. That's another thing. Yes. So your body says, I have to avoid the drama. So now I'm going to ask you, without blaming, people in your past, did they live in drama all the time?
It seemed like, yeah, I would say so. I kind of grew up in drama.
Okay, yes.
And then,
And you were born not to really want to be in drama. So you're the black sheep of the family type thing. This is probably why I'm looking at you. You're not the sunflower that's yellow. You're the sunflower that's white.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm supposed to see. Instead of the black sheep, we call it the, so, okay, that makes more sense. But it's the action that your body wants to do when it feels that invading energy. Again, they're pointing to how you knew what it was like to be an it and to be accused. And I'm asking, is there anything else? They go, no, just kind of take that experience of being a kid, focusing on how your mother did that. And that will actually start to give you something to measure when you're doing L3D. At the same time, how you don't like to be around those people's energies at work. Measure, observe, and measure, and hold that spot. Literally allow your body, when it starts to act weird, just breathe in and out. Nice big breaths to help your body shift the nervous system to get through these different things about you. You may have to do eye accessing, okay, the sensory accessing, because I can feel the picture that you got to constantly have this one bigger to stare at. Well, this one can just be lazy because it's like, this is safe. Over here, it's like, what the fuck? Now I can't tell which side
that would be my right side, because when I just kind of look up, I see like more vision than if I look down.
Yes. Okay. So notice that your brain is trying to make sure you can't see it and then see it. And so it's like, so you go and you heal, you measure and you grow and get yourself and get your power back. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I
want you to still be the white sunshine or sunflower, because that's just a gorgeous flower. Okay. You do that. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. We thank Pilly for this forward, and we will talk to you next time, my dear. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So this is very important to each of these different type of healings. When people come on, we can see it for the live. You can begin to hear stuff that's deeper level. Okay, really. And Amy, you are an 8, whatever it is that you were doing, but you have to look at what you're doing toward yourself as a reaction to whatever it is. Okay. Because man, it's making some overwhelm. Make sure you're holding R3D because you want to go into self-preservation. Here's just shifted. Kelly says, thank you for the help. Feeling much better, and we'll do 3 times daily. Good. Again, once you start to notice when you drop, I'm going to just do that. Okay. Because with the chronic state, you got to train yourself that there's something else. Your brain needs to be able to notice that it can predict better, so it doesn't have to go into that state. And you'll begin to like pump iron, and your body will go, hey, we're off. Oh, hold on. So she'll tap, rub, whatever she's got to do. And then she can get back into building up who Kelly is. So anybody here, anybody that's new, anybody that got a number, anybody, let me know. Aimster.
I don't know if, I think it's Gala.
Okay, we got Gala Daily. And then we will go. Well, they look new. You're new. I'll give you 2. And then I see a Candy. Are they new?
Yeah.
Okay. So after Gala, we'll go to Candy. Gala. I feel exertion. Now, it's the way that energy is presented. So there's some type of an exertion, and it comes from people. Something that wants to get your attention, but they exert it in such a way that you quickly judge it because of the way that's being exerted, and it creates a repulse. Now, a repulse is when you're compatible, and over time you have an intolerance, or you're just sensitive to it, or you're just like allergic to this shit anymore. Your body will create a magnetic. And that means it goes a +10 and it can go down to a -10. And when it gets too far in the negatives, your physical body will do stuff. Now it's a +6, which means it should be a +10, but a +6 is that you're out of balance. And the thing that you you cannot tolerate anymore is these people that have false self-assuredness. I think it amazes you because I feel like I'm stunned going, what? So somehow it's your reaction just listening to somebody. That because they're in your space, it literally drains you and wipes you out. You don't want to be mean, but at the same time, you just kind of build this intolerance. It's like when you're in the relationship too long, you're like, oh God, what? The sock on the floor again? Really? Okay. It's building. Part of your feeling is that they don't shut up. So you have to live through their story. I feel like you're beginning to notice that they're a pattern, they're a program, and they're repeating. And you just kind of wish the certain issue, whatever we're talking about, it just would end. Hang in there. There will be a shift soon. All right, Miss Candy Thompson. Corona, whatever. Candy, 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes because to me you look new.
Mm-hmm.
A character. So sometimes we have to diminish our character. And if you're not sure, look up the word character and then let spirit tell you which character. I feel like you have always had this habit. You have to diminish yourself. And this seems to be part of what your soul wants to work on. When a soul wants to work on a program, it'll make it part of the dark night of the soul, which means you'll seem like you're repeating this all the time, like Groundhog Day. And the way that yours is connected to being invalidated, and that there's a certain stature that you're supposed to display a certain amount of hopelessness. That's interesting. You have to display it, meaning it's like a mask you have to put on for somebody else. Now, it's like forced humility, forced humbleness. It was their lesson to be learned, but somehow you took that on. Now, understand, if you have karma things that are going on, you cannot, karma is consequences. So you're always teeter-tottering, but it's when it gets stuck and you're taking on somebody else's lesson where that you get stuck and it feels like you're unlucky or bad shit happens, and you got to stop taking on other people's stuff. But this somehow is that there's a grudge. Do you have anybody that's holding a grudge against you? And you have the inability to expand your energy. So then this becomes an identity thing and story. And they're saying, if this is the case, notice that you're fighting yourself. She says, true. Notice that you're fighting yourself. The battle isn't here. It's just save peace out here. And your soul is saying it's time to take your power back. They want you to understand that your body's getting more into the physical sensation of self-preservation, and you can't do this anymore. You need to expand. If what I said makes any sense to you, I would start learning to do EFT. Make sure you look at mine, because mine goes back to the original, and there's a whole complete reason, not in what I give you, but if you join the tribe, you would hear it. But you need to get it out of your eyes. You need to get it out of your brain. You need to change it. All right. Anybody else new? And if you like this, keep coming back. We formed a group, a tribe, a family. When it comes to just having the shows, you can join a group, which is the tribal group, and that's for $36 a month, and you get 4 videos a month. And not only do you get 4 videos a month, but they're all designed about helping you heal. You can go back to the archives and you do all those meditations and healings, and getting that knowledge to help you grow into becoming a spiritual human. You do not have to be having ill health. You do not have to be uneasy all the time. You don't have to. There's so much. This is why when you heal, you witness, so that you can tell your brain there's something else besides predicting hell. Okay.
Tammy with an I.
Tammy with an I. Hello, Tammy. Okay. Don't know why I want to say it that way. All right, Miss Tammy. This has to do with something with your work or where you want to go. There's something about how do you not get depleted? Okay. So how you not get depleted is, number one, do Wayne Cook posture. Number two, it is that making sure you hook up, connecting heaven and earth, and Celtic weave. When you go to do your job, understand to employ spirit to come through and to come through your gut, your heart, and your mind, so that you can allow yourself to be fed energetically with love as you go and you help those. Because people say, well, how can you do a show for 4 hours? Don't you get tired? Well, my ass gets a little tired because it needs to move. My body says like, move, but my mind and everything else is being fed. My chakras get all balanced. It's amazing. And there's a part of you that the body's something to do with whatever you're doing. You love it, but you are at the stage of developing your skills, which you're skill building. That means sometimes you may get muddled. Don't worry. You are meant to look at the parameters to grow. You feel like a little unstable. Well, maybe stop doubting yourself. When in doubt, heal it out.
Heal it out.
Okay. Who else?
As far as I know, that's it.
Okay. All right.
Unless somebody has a number that.
Yeah. If you've gotten a number.
Earlier.
Yep. I'll give that a few minutes. If you've gotten a number and you're here and you didn't get read, you didn't get missed, give it to me. I'll give you a reading. This is why we do the numbers. This is why we, yeah, you're stretching yourself, Tammy. But it's important stages. So, be gentle, be kind, and be loving to yourself. These, I have to say, these earrings you probably saw before, but let's see, Dr. Jules Verne, okay, from Etsy, but they sent me this tomahawk and I attached it to this necklace thing. And I like it because I started putting it on and then I had to help a person cast out the negative thoughts, which some people will say it's like demonistic. But what it is that when you're connected from spirit, you will take those negative thoughts and mindset will control you in such a way that it'll be disgusting. But when you take and cut through all that crap, changing the frequencies within yourself, you can become healthier and happier for sure. So if you like today's show and I've given you something, remember to pay it forward in some form and heal, witness, grow, learn, and you can put on my fan page. You can give me a testimony, a review, however that is. Hopefully you'll ready to do things. We have a lot of names now collected for all of our 3 hope chests, and which is a good thing. So it's, Amy, you're at a 6. You need to focus on towards the self and how I have to become lofty. You see, this is where you don't, it's connected to the TT. Do you know what I'm talking about? She's not answering me. There's not a nod. There's not a wink. I can't see shit. So, yes or no? That's all I need to say.
No.
Okay. You've had to come back and visit it several times. I'll just tell you after the show. This is a delicate one, people. You okay? TP. Yes, Miss TP. Hello, darling. We've been missing you. Hopefully you've got a home and that you're good and you're safe. With winter's coming. Miss TP. There's still a great amount of inferiority complex energy going on. This is very chronic. The vibration keeps dropping towards yourself. So we're going to look towards the yearning aspect, how you're yearning for something. And we're going to have you do R1D. And, they're saying R2S as well. Because there's a procrastination that you're doing. Okay, so the R2S is about procrastination. R1D is about that, whatever it is I just said, yearning. Those two create an arrested development, and it creates you into a cycle. This arrested development is that you're meant to get past being timid, but you have the identity of being so timid, you have to heal it out of your heart, L1D. Okay? All right. You guys are wonderful. Now I'm going to go off and go get something to eat and go pate, and then I'm going to go to work again. So, oh, you guys are great. Resolve to evolve.
Heal instead of deal.
You can heal that.
Feel it to heal it.
And that's what she's doing right now, is tapping to feel it, because I'm watching her heal. When in doubt.
Heal it out.
Oh, and when I'm doubting.
Make sure you heal that shit out and grab a tool.
Exactly. You guys got this. We'll get you back and being empowered in no time. And what I always want you to understand is you can go up to the grid and just take and you know, download some healing. Always remember, stay blessed.